autistics especially are very susceptible to like MLM marketing is because they offer you scripts. The idea of being able to like be your own boss and make a living without having to like deal with the learning of the stuff. Like, it's just like, get this script converts. Hey everybody, I'm super excited today to introduce you to Liora, who is kind of my boss, kind of my friend. They hired me as a career coach at Colorful Futures, which they are the founder of, and that is a neurodivergent, queer-owned business where we coach neurodivergent and queer folks on job seeking, entrepreneurship, anything career-related. It's been an absolute delight to work there. Just a little plug there. And just in our like regular check-in this week, we got onto the topic of MLMs, and then we booked this podcast to record 2 days later because we both have thoughts. So Liora, please say hi. Tell us a little more about your background and tell us about Colorful Futures, honestly, because why not? Talk it up.
Yeah, hi. First of all, I'm like so excited to be on your podcast because I've listened to so many episodes. Even when we were in like the process of going through like your interviews and stuff, I was like, I had you in my ears. I was like, I know you.
That's delightful.
So also props for how many episodes you have, because so many people don't make it past like 10.
I'm coming up on 200.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we are.
Pat on the back for you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 189 or 190 when this one comes out. So we're getting so
amazing. Yeah, so my background is like kind of classic ADHDer. I went to school for one thing, started my career in one thing, ended up on different detours, and here I am. But my early career was in graphic design, so I went to school for that, worked in that field for a while, both corporate and freelance. Then was kind of like, I actually just like creativity and I don't need that to be a job. So I went back to like basically where I worked in high school and college and went into food service, became a food and beverage manager. And that kind of stumbled me into recruiting. So I found my way there. I was like very burnt out from being a food and bev manager, because if you've never been a manager, or if you have, you know that you're kind of always available if your place of business is open. In my case, it was 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. So, not the best.
Not ideal.
Very much led to burnout. So, ended up working for a recruiting agency. And it was the perfect blend of my background because it was recruiting, which I become a little familiar with from having to hire. And then it was a creative agency. So we hired designers and marketers and like all these things that I knew about. And I loved it because I could do the portfolio reviews and like chat about the industry and like, not have to do the work myself. So I was there for a while, got fired from that job. I have a whole podcast episode about that. Made my way into a startup and really loved that experience working as a recruiter in a startup. And then they did a massive, quote unquote, reduction in force, basically massive layoff back in 2023, about 2.5 years ago. Life circumstances were such that I had a little bit of a buffer. My dad had died like 6 months prior. So I was like, this is a good time to do what I've always wanted to and start a business. Doing career coaching and helping people navigate what can be a very mysterious, confusing, frustrating process.
Yeah, especially for the neurodivergent.
Yeah, exactly. And, when I started recruiting, I didn't know that I was neurodivergent. I had no idea. I think very, very much like kind of average. What was I going to say? Like averagely diagnosed person. I figured it out in like 2020 when I was home all the time and I was like on TikTok and hearing all these stories and told my friend, hey, I think I might have ADHD. And she goes, duh. I'm like, oh, news to me. So yeah, now that's what I've been, that's how Colorful Futures was born. Been doing that for 2.5 years. And, I very much believe that this isn't what I'm going to do forever because I know historically my interests wane, my life evolves, and I love what I'm doing now. And I accept that maybe that'll change. But for now, I love it. So
All right.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's honestly, it's great. It's a great company. It's a great team. I'm certainly having fun. I've been there for a few months now.
Yeah, like 3 or 4, maybe something
Yeah,
like that.
I don't remember. I feel like it was August. Who
Yeah.
knows? Doesn't matter. Whatever. I do that a lot. I'm like, oh, what exact
Like,
detail is it that is
no, me
completely irrelevant?
too. I'm like, I need the time, the season, the day, and if it's not, like, it doesn't. And then I stop myself. I'm like,
That's
it
so
does
funny.
not really matter.
I did a TikTok yesterday about writing my first book, and I literally went into a very old email address to like look up the dates that like I had emailed in the manuscript, and like because I wanted to be very precise because it was about how long it took me, and it took me 8 months, 6 months to draft, 2 months to revise, and I'm looking at like the 5 years I've been working on my novel. Like what?
Like, what's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? So there's that.
Not you, but the process.
Me. It's honestly, it's that was nonfiction, and like I was really fired up about it. And with fiction, it's just you have to layer in like so many things. It's fine. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about finding out that we were both in the Beachbody cult at roughly the same maybe time. Yeah. So I joined Beachbody. Also, just trigger warning for this episode: eating disorders, weight loss, Beachbody, mental health.
Mhm.
So I joined Beachbody, I want to say in like 2013 for the first time. And I was like, this is my business. I'm going to start a business. And then I quit for a minute, and then I rejoined in like, I want to say 2014 or 2015. Like I wasn't
So
out
canon.
long, but like I re-signed up, and I very much monetized my eating disorder. So Beachbody really solidified my eating disorder for me, because now it was like literally my job to work out, to eat right, and to tell everybody what I was eating and how much I was exercising every single day. That's not healthy, friends. Anybody listening to me? It's not good. It's not good. Being a fitness coach or a fitness influencer or like anything like that should come of a genuine love of fitness. Should not be like, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to inspire people while I do it, and I will make money if I succeed at the weight loss. So I went about that a little not great. But what about you? What brought you into Beachbody? Tell me how you got here.
Yeah, so what brought me in was, definite trigger warning for intentional weight loss, etc. And also a disclaimer that my opinion of weight loss, of body sizes, of all of that has changed so much since
Me too.
the me that era. So yeah, it was like maybe 2015. That sounds about right. I was like, had seen a couple people post about Beachbody. I was getting into a little bit more of like, I was like 24 at the time. So I was like, I work a corporate job. I have to bring my lunch because I can't pay for it all the time. And like, oh, now I'm becoming more aware of what I'm eating and cooking and all this kind of stuff. And I'm also now aware of how much I don't move my body when I'm in the car for 2 hours a day and then sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day and coming home and sitting on the couch. So just like kind of these things that were coming up, I was like, I need to be aware of this. I was also on hormonal birth control at the time. That very much changed my body, and just all of this stuff kind of added up to my body looked and felt a lot different than I was used to in my teen years, very, very early 20s. So it was like one day after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday, at the time I was dating a photographer. So when we were cooking and everything, he was taking pictures and I was going through them. And for whatever reason, it just like hit me. I'm like, I want to do something different. And I was also this was around the time I was getting tired of working as a designer. Mm-hmm. So I was like doing a bunch of research. My partner at the time was like driving Uber, because it's like Thanksgiving night and everyone needs an Uber. And so I was at home eating leftover pie, like researching Beachbody. Mm-hmm. And I actually immediately signed up as a coach because I saw like the discount and I was like, ooh, discount.
So like nobody recruited you in?
So what happened? I think I was like following my coach at the time. Her name was Brittany. And as I was researching, I was like, I'm just going to reach out to her and tell her that I want to sign up. I actually don't know that I even messaged her. I think that I like went to her site and then just like bought something and then added like the coach enrollment situation. And then like the next day we connected and we're like, oh, here's what you can do, whatever. So that was my intro to it, was more so just from like the program, weight loss, nutrition kind of side. But the discount attracted me. And then I was like, oh, maybe I could make some money with this. And that was sort of the entry point. And I would say within a year after that, I was like, I'm not making any money. I'm spending a lot of money. Yep. This doesn't feel sustainable. I need to like move on with my life. And then I didn't participate in it for a couple years. And then maybe like what I did learn in that time was I was very interested in nutrition and like movement. And I wanted to know the why behind things. I'm like, why do vegetables help our bodies? Like, why does movement help our joints? So I ended up a few years later, maybe in like 2017 or so, getting a certificate to be a personal trainer. Did that for a couple years and became a wellness coach. I got nutrition certified. And so all of that was really interesting. Around the time that I was actually officially doing wellness coaching, which was in 2021, I was working in corporate recruiting. That was winding down. I was like, let me pick up this part of the business. A friend of mine was doing coaching and they were someone that I like didn't think would join an MLM. So when they joined, I was like, okay, well, maybe it could be different this time. Maybe I can just use this as like an affiliate part of my business as like a separate thing. That lasted a couple of months before I was like, oh, wait, this hasn't changed at all. And like all the things I didn't like about it are still true. And then left and read one of the books that came out around that same time about the MLM industry and everything. And I was like, yeah, this is terrible.
Yeah, I love that. I also like so ADHD that you were like, so I got interested in this and then I got a certification and I did this. But let me tell you, you don't have to know anything to be a Beachbody coach. You just have to buy the package. It's not about health, it's about sales. And so the fact that you went from Beachbody to I'm going to get a personal trainer certification and learn nutrition and get a nutritional certification, my God, I think Beachbody maybe would not be such a blight on society if to become a coach you had to actually learn stuff about the human body. But
and what really got me to do that was like people would call out the coaches for just what you said of you don't have any formal knowledge. And I was like, what if I did?
That's so
and also like, this is interesting. And I did not know I was neurodivergent. And now in hindsight, I'm like, girl, you could just like learn things. Like you don't have to make it like a career.
Oh my God. Right? We can just learn stuff.
I can just learn things.
I love it. So for me, I went a more unhealthy route. So I went to like, I'm going to lead 30-day fitness challenges and I'm going to do this. And it was all literally like just to keep myself accountable to my insane workouts. And I mean insane. Like I did Insanity. I did P90X. Like I was doing very like hard workouts, 60 minutes, sometimes like 2 hours. I barely took the rest days that were like prescribed in the because they tell you to rest. They're like, on this day, you're just going to do a little yoga. You're just going to do the stretch video. And I was like, no, I have to do more. And like, I loved working out and I miss working out, but it was such a toxic relationship that we had that now I'm worried that like it would be toxic again. And I am trying so hard to get to a place where I'm like, it's not going to be like that because I'm not like that anymore. Sort of like I was also in an abusive relationship at the time. And since then, I have learned more about myself and learned more about what a healthy relationship looks like. And so my relationship now with Brennan is really healthy and really fulfilling. And like, if he did one toxic abusive thing, I would like call him on it and he would be mortified. Like if we're talking about real Brennan, but like if imaginary fake Brennan like turned abusive, I would not tolerate it.
Yeah.
In a way that like it wasn't an option before because I was like, no, I have to stay married to this person. I was trapped in many little patterns of like control And also being in an abusive relationship, having so much control over my body and my workout and my food was a way for me to feel like I was in control of something. So
Yes.
it was also like a coping strategy for me. Like I would try to get him interested in workouts, and sometimes we would go to the gym together, and that was great. And like I wanted to involve him in my workouts and fitness and stuff, but like, sometimes he just sabotaged. I don't recommend doing cleanses or Whole30 or like super restrictive diets, but I was doing like a 30-day no sugar thing. And like the first day he brought home a candy bar for me and he put it in the fridge and he was like, for when you're done. So, I wouldn't be doing a sugar cleanse now, but like that so defeats the purpose. And also that's not something that you put in the fridge when your dieting partner is dieting.
Right.
But also, Liora, I was going fucking insane. Like when I wasn't eating carbs, I was going nuts. Like I was unwell, sleeping bad. My skin was bad. Like
terrible.
I pretended I was amazing.
Because that's what you have to market.
Everybody clapped. Everybody was like, oh my God, what's your secret? And I was like, Beachbody, do you have $130 a month for a smoothie?
Oh, you don't? Put it on a credit card.
Put it on a credit card. That's another
Ask
thing.
your family for money. Yeah. Oh my God, the whole marketing, terrible, terrible, toxic marketing approaches. And I also want to be clear, like the sort of Beachbody V1 that I was in like the mid 2010s was very much what you described of like working out every day. I would go on vacation. And if we drove, I would literally pack 100 pounds worth of weights in the car. And then we would get there and it's a 3-story walk up. I would walk all my weights in. I was away for like 2 or 3 days. Like that is unhinged behavior.
Yeah.
I
took my Shakeology packets because I had packets for traveling, right? Because you don't always want to take the big bag. I took them to like my aunt's funeral, and I was doing workouts in the hotel, like while I'm in town for my aunt's funeral, and I'm posting my selfies and being like, no excuses.
Like the never miss a Monday, no excuses. Even getting your partner involved in your workouts was all a part of the very like manipulative marketing, like never miss a Monday and like do this no matter what. I would wake up at 4 a.m. to work. I would get on a Zoom call with another person on like the team, the coach team or whatever, because she had to go to work really early. So we would get on for an hour to do like our business activity, which is basically like sending unsolicited messages or like messaging people more like casually, but like your intention was to move the conversation to business.
Yes. I met some of my best friends from unsolicited DMing them. And I was trying to sell them something, and bless them for being like, no, thank you, but you're cool, So like, I still have really close friendships with some people who like at the time they were a checkbox. It was, reach out to 5 people a day, add 5 new friends a day. I don't like adding 5 new friends a day. I don't know you. And I would add like anybody. I would go participate in other groups, like decluttering groups, bullet journal groups, this group, that group. And then I would make friends in there. So like basically if we had...
You could sell to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It nauseating. It also put a really shitty taste of like marketing in my mouth for like, now that I do have a legitimate business that is not creepy, I feel like I'm doing toxic MLM shit. And I know that I'm not, but like it still lingers in there.
Yeah. It can take a long time to unlearn that, let alone like the addition of the absolute train wreck it does on your mental health, physical health, like overall well-being. I think like when I was like my Beachbody V2 phase, where at that point I had taken a few nutrition courses, I had gone through a couple, like, because when you're a certified personal trainer, every 2 years you have to take continuing education courses. Yeah. So you can earn a certain amount of credits so you can keep it up. So even when I wasn't actively coaching or training in wellness, I wanted to keep my certificate. So I would take additional classes. And throughout all of that, I learned so much more about like sustainable health practices that weren't necessarily like weight loss driven, And it was like a very, very stark difference from like 5 years prior when I was in Beachbody V1. But even through all of that, I was like, oh, maybe like I can approach the sort of just like affiliate part of Beachbody differently. Cause like, to be fair, you know, the Shakeology shakes like had a lot of vitamins and minerals in them. And like, I wasn't taking vitamins or anything at the time. So it was like, all right, I'm getting like some sort of nutrition in my body, not the worst. It introduced me to helping me realize I love weightlifting and stuff like that. But now I get to do that because I like to, and not because I like have to do this program. I have to post about it. I can't miss a day. I have to like talk about how you can fit these things in your life. It's like, it's not that serious.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh gosh, like so many of like the upline coaches who I followed and stuff, people who are like, you can make so much money doing this. And I'm like, you're making so much money because you have a huge downline of people who aren't making any money. And like, honestly, there's a Bob's Burgers episode. Are you a Bob's fan?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Where Linda is about to like buy a essential oil kit and start selling it. And like the kids and Gail go find her to stop her. And the essential oil lady realizes that all of the people in her downline aren't making any sales. And like, if they are, it's to their families. And I also did Pure Romance for a while. And like, I sold lube to my mother. Like, because who do you sell to? You sell to your family and friends first.
Right.
And like, no, selling lube to your mother is a little weird.
That reminds me too, when you're talking about Bob's Burgers, of like the Schitt's Creek episode where I think it's like Moira and David get into like the skincare line, and like everyone in town is so supportive, and they're like, we all went through this like whatever year ago, and like there's no one to sell to. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
I've only watched Schitt's Creek through once, but I want to rewatch it now that I know that I love it, because the first like season was really rough.
And I find like some people, if they don't get beyond that, or they watch the first couple episodes, they're like, it's insufferable or whatever. I'm like, no, you have to like let it build.
Yeah.
So then you can see the character development. It's like part of the whole thing. I've seen it a few times. It's become like my comfort show. When I was cleaning out my office last summer, I just like had it on and I watched the whole thing again. I love it. I also feel like with any MLM or most of them, a big thing that they market is like the community and like your teammates and your like the mentorship and like,
you won't have to feel alone. I'm here to answer any questions.
And they'll market like the retreats and like the get-togethers and the whatevers. And for me, that was also part of the draw was, like you can meet people, you can make friends. Now, granted, one of my best friends to this day, I met because she was a coach on like a different team somewhere in the downline. But luckily, like, and I think this is part of why we are still great friends, is that we both kind of had the evolution away from like, oh yeah, this isn't really for us in many ways. But knowing what I know now, like late diagnosed neurodivergent person, late diagnosed ADHDer, it's so obvious to me now as I talk to a few other people who like I met through Beachbody or who I know were in it before, other MLMs. Like it's so attractive, I think, to neurodivergent people, whether you're diagnosed or not, because you might not have I know I didn't. I struggled to make community, make friends. So it was like, oh, cool. I can like inherit sort of this thing. And then all the little like bits and bobs and processes and things that you can do that give you the dopamine of like, oh, I can buy this thing and I can make this schedule. At least this is what it was like for me. It was like my autism and ADHD were like, this is amazing. I can create a schedule. I can create a marketing plan. I can like keep track of all these interactions. I can buy all this stuff. Oh, and I'm making some money. And that's a huge dopamine hit. But it's also a little like gambling, because I found that they would be like, oh, if you do a giveaway, you can like buy some Shakeology and give it away. Maybe people will enroll. Like no one did. So I'm like wasting money on gifts and things.
Oh my God. I just remembered that I literally gave somebody the money to buy like the coach sign up kit. And then I also covered her next month of Shakeology to keep her active, because I was trying to get my emerald status or my diamond status or whatever it was. And I was like, but I need this many people under me. And I'm like, so you are hucking money at somebody else so that I can qualify for like, what in hell was I doing? And why did I think it was a business?
And so many people I found, I mean, maybe it was just like the group of teams I was in, but they're all like 20 somethings who have never run a business before. So there's no talk about business expenses, taxes, like responsible spending, like profit and loss. And to be fair, if they did talk about those things, like no one would stay. Like
Yeah.
you run a profit and loss, like you are not making money, let alone the time that it takes that you have to pour into getting people to sign up and all of this stuff. It's just,
I also think like another reason that it might be like autistics, especially like are very susceptible to like MLM marketing is because they offer you scripts. They're like, it's so easy to make money. You just follow the script. And you and I both know that a lot of neurodivergent people are not cut out for the traditional employment of like a 9 to 5 or a corporate life because it sucks. We don't like it. There's not enough enrichment in our hamster container.
Exactly.
So like the idea of being able to like be your own boss and make a living without having to like deal with the learning of the stuff. Like it's just like, get this script converts and here's your script. And like, nuh-uh. Because the script is basically cold DM people you barely know and say, you look kind of fat. You want to join my group? Like
literally.
That's what it comes down to. Is you're like, hey girl, hey, do you love fitness? I'm starting a 30-day challenge. It'll just cost you $150 to join and I'll make $20.
Oh, and then like, do you want to sign up like your sister? Like, do you know anyone else who would want to join? And if you become a coach, you can get a discount and you can earn money. And it's like, and even if the scripts were like warm intros where they're like, no, form a relationship and then like find out more about them and then see if they're interested and like build the relationship. It's so manipulative. And what I will say is there's a lot I really despise about my experience then, but oddly, like taking so much time to cold DM people, reach out to people, you get a lot of rejection, but it kind of taught me how to make small talk.
Hey, that's a plus.
Which did really help when I moved into like agency recruiting, because you're talking to, if you're not familiar with agency recruiting, basically it's like you work with probably hundreds of different companies as they have needs. Like you're just an external recruiter who can help them interview people and fill their open roles that they have, whatever. So I'm talking to so many different people every week, and you kind of have to quickly build rapport with them, whether they're a job seeker or a hiring manager. And I remember like a few months in thinking like, I would not have been able to do this as well as I am now without having that experience. So that is like one thing that I took away from that experience.
Hey, I love a silver lining. Like for me,
yeah, a little one.
It's like the butterfly effect of it all. So like, you know, I signed up and then Jen Sincero was huge when in like my V2 of Beachbody. So that's how I remember it was 2015 because I bought like her program. She like Jen Sincero had like a $200 like little 8-week program and I begged my mom for it as like my Christmas gift. And so she paid for like half. So I was able to take this like 6 or 8 week, like you're a badass course. And I met somebody else in there and then it turned out like she was a life coach. And so I hired her to life coach me. And that literally led to me becoming a life coach myself. So like, I can't be mad at Beachbody. I can't go back and erase it all because, you know, I'm here now and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
But man, it was toxic. I was also getting up at like 4 a.m. I would go run. I was running 3 miles before breakfast and still just eating a Shakeology.
But you're eating enough for a toddler and burning so many calories, doing like 2 workouts or more a day. Terrible. It taught me a lot and a lot of things that were beneficial, like the small talk and like my love of movement, which I had to rediscover at some point. But it also taught me like the red flags and the toxic behavior and things to look out for and how to run a business and market more authentically and like with ethics
and integrity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get like messages from somebody, you know, like on Instagram or whatever, people are just sort of like sending out like mass DMs, and it'll be like, we can help you grow your Instagram following. And like, I can tell it's just a copy pasted message. And I'm like, nope, feels like Beachbody, get out. Like, I'm not interested in buying something from someone who can copy and paste from a script that they would use with any other person. Like, if I'm buying from somebody with a small business, it's going to be a small business that like they have actually built and reflects my values, and like they have connected with me on a level where I now want to hire them to help me with something. And it very much is like, I want to hire an expert rather than I want to buy a shake, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you know, if it's jewelry or something, like I want to buy a thing from you. But like, if I'm spending Beachbody money, like $100+ a month, I would like that to be something that is like actively teaching me something or actively deepening my engagement with an interest of mine or making me better at something. Bro, not just let me buy some DVDs.
Right.
Let me get, although like I do like a lot of the personalities. Like, I love Chalene Johnson. She actually, I listened to her podcast and she taught me a lot about marketing. Like, she was sort of like my intro to like digital marketing.
Yeah.
And cause she had like the Chalene show, and then she had another one that was like more about like marketing and business. And I learned a lot from her, and she's got great energy. She probably also has ADHD, like for sure. And I like Tony Horton, maybe, like he's got good energy. Like, I remember once somebody was doing like push-ups and he was like, straighten your arms, you don't own elbows right now. And I thought that was like one of the funniest things I'd ever heard. So like, I enjoyed the workouts. I like kickboxing, I love weightlifting. I did like the dance one, and I even enjoyed that a little bit. And like
Country Heat, which was like a country dance workout. I'm not a big fan of country, but that one was like pretty enjoyable.
Like, the workouts are fun. They're just also like being sold to you in a predatory like pyramid scheme.
I'm like, if they just had the products as they are, which, like, to be fair, you can buy them and not be attached to a coach or anything like that.
Yeah, but they're all marked up because they have to pay out commissions. Like, if buying a bag of Shakeology was the same price as I can get a can of Orgain protein powder from Costco for $30, maybe I would be brand loyal to Shakeology, but I'm not. And you can't make me do it.
No. And now it's like, a couple of years ago, I was like, oh, I kind of liked Insanity Max 30, and like, I want to get back into that again. And I just went to YouTube and found like whatever, or like Vimeo, and found whatever like free preview I could find, and just like did that.
My poor joints. So I didn't know I had fibromyalgia. I thought that the full body pain I was in was proof it was working. So like, I can't do high impact stuff anymore. Like, I'm hypermobile, first of all. So imagine like doing like jumps and stuff, and you're hypermobile. And like, I didn't know I was hypermobile. So I wasn't paying like the specific attention to my form that like you need to do to make sure that your joints are stabilized, something that a personal trainer would catch, but that a Beachbody coach is completely unqualified to even notice. So like,
or you're like doing a video on your own, so how are you going to know?
Right. And they give form tips. They're like, make sure your knees should be over your ankles, like bend at the hip, like, for like a deadlift or something. And, I could go like study, I could go find videos on YouTube about proper form and blah, 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 blah. But like, at this point, I would like to work with a personal trainer so that they can keep me like, one, in good form, like somebody who's familiar with hypermobility, and two, so that like, I don't overdo it and I don't push myself too hard. My family I live with, my little communal home, like pitched in, and we got a heavy bag for the basement last year for Christmas, and I love punching it, but
I love that.
I can't put the boxing gloves on by myself, so I need to get some like fingerless ones that I can just pull off.
Yeah,
it's like the big boxing ones. Once I have one mitten on, I can't close the other mitten. I worked out with that a few times, and then I haven't done it for months. So like, I really want to get back into it. But like that toxic, abusive relationship that we had before is a barrier.
Yeah. You have like, it's just like you said, like with people relationships, it's like you really have to unlearn, relearn. And like for me, I've been doing in the past couple years, well, I say couple years, it's been a year. I've been doing a lot more like attachment work and IFS work and things like that. And I literally had therapy today, and we were talking about, I'm noticing like these are things I learned from a past relationship. And now I'm realizing, like, is that even my current preference, my current experience? Is that what's actually happening right now? And you have like, and I'm like, oh, like I used to feel insecure with this and now I feel better about that. And it's the same thing with relationship to food, movement, all that stuff. It's like, I didn't work out for a long time because I had to do so for my quote unquote job as a coach, where I had to work out and post about it. It was obligatory. And then at some point I was like, I don't want to do this at all. And then my body was like, okay, but maybe don't go to the other side of the pendulum, like come back a little. Like,
yeah, it is very all or nothing. Like that's where I'm at now, is like, I'm trying to, and I've talked about this with, his name is Jared. So he's the therapist. Like we've talked about exercise several times where I'm like, and we do dialectical behavioral therapy. So it'll be like, okay, so like this extreme over here is like, you work out every single day. You always press play, no excuses. Don't go to bed till you've worked out. I literally would stay up and not go to bed so that I could work out. And I would do like a 60-minute workout too. Just do 10 minutes.
At like 9 p.m.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. And then the nothing is, well, I can't do that because it's toxic. I have an eating disorder. It's bad. I know that stuff exists in the middle, but like, it's hard to get back in there. And I also maybe think that like, we learn exercising is good for your body, And so an autistic person may take that just like super literally and be like, okay, like it's a checkbox. I have to exercise. Here's an exercise. And they do a DVD or whatever. And like, I think we need to be taught that like different exercise feels different and you can do different things and you need to find what works for you. As opposed to like in gym class, everybody has to run the mile. Everybody has to do this. Everybody has to do that. And it's like we standardize what exercise means in school. And so I think like a lot of us are missing out on different exercise that would be really fun. Like Zumba, fun. Swimming, fun. Kickboxing, so fun. I love to imagine punching a Nazi in the face. Like, it's a beautiful fitness goal. I want to,
even if people love gardening, like gardening is moving your body in a different way. Or like I saw a physical therapist for a while because I was getting intense like shoulder pain and crunchiness around the time I figured out I was hypermobile. And I sit a lot for my job. And then when I'm not sitting at my desk, I'm sitting on the couch. And so that was like all just causing this pain in my upper torso joints. One weekend, long story short, I very impulsively painted the laundry room because we got a new washer dryer, but it arrived shattered. So they had to bring a new one in 2 days. And I was like, well, this is not here. Let me paint the room. And like, no shit, those 2 days of painting, I saw my physical therapist like a couple days later. I was like, I don't have any pain right now. And he was like, well, that makes sense because you just moved your body in a completely different way than you normally do every day. And it was like, we're better. You like moved around and gave us some different range of motion and all fixed.
If I just do like 10 minutes of yoga a day, like the pain is so much less.
Yeah.
And I just want to start there. It's all or something. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
I love that. Yeah. And I did the same thing. My PT would give me like a program and he'd be like, what feels accessible? I was like, listen, I don't remember to do this until right before bed, which means like I need to be able to either do it in bed or in like the little space between like my wall and my bed. So he would change it for that and I would do it for 10 minutes. And like, in my mind, I always built it up to be like, I have to do this for 30 days, for a month, for whatever amount of time, like every day to do this. And within like a few days of literally like 8 to 10 minutes of what felt in the moment like the smallest things, like nerve flossing, and which sounds funny, but it's just like stretching your nerves essentially, and like little movements, chin tucks, stuff like that. I would wake up day 3 and be like, I'm not waking up with back pain. I don't have tightness in my neck and my shoulders. Like, and basically what all together, it was like 30 minutes of time over 3 days. And that's all it needed. I was like, I don't need to do like a whole hour thing. I don't have to change my whole life. Like, I just have to brush my teeth, do something for like 6 minutes and go to bed.
Yeah. I've been doing like ab exercises like while I brush my teeth at night because like my abs don't do their job. And so like
Me
when
neither.
I'm sitting in a chair, like my weight is just in this chair. Like I'm not sitting up like I should. And so I have to tell my abs to go to work. And so like when I'm flossing or something, or like if I'm tweezing all my chin hairs, I like lean over the sink and I'm holding my core, and like I do this for 5 minutes, and it helps me like remember to engage my core, like when we're walking the dog, like little teeny things like that count as exercise. And I think like just to kind of bring it all together here at the end, like the beach body thing is very like prescriptive. It says follow this exactly to get a result. That's very all or nothing thinking. And it's so much more healthy when you're like, try a bunch of stuff. What feels good to your body? What feels fun? What feels fun enough to be worth the sensory nightmare? I hate it. And so that's also a barrier. And the more barriers we can remove, the easier it's going to be for a neurodivergent person to do the thing.
And I think that can be true of like anything, right? Whether it's like cooking or organizing chores or writing, working, like whatever, creating content, painting, dancing, like whatever you want to do. I think like, you know, for me, I find myself in those patterns all the time of like, well, like for the longest time, I wouldn't floss because I was like, oh, it's such like a thing, even though I know I have to do it. And historically, I've had a lot of work on my teeth. And I had one hygienist like change my life. She was like, you know, you could floss like once a week and that would actually be enough to like prevent buildup. And I was like, you just changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Cause like that makes sense to me that it's like like it will still prevent it from building up so much. But now it doesn't feel like it was like, I thought I had to do it
every single day
for
it to count.
And that felt like too much. So it was nothing.
Yeah.
And so I started doing it once a week and it was wonderful. And now I floss most days. And then my therapist thinks this is hilarious. Like once or twice a week, I'll skip flossing as like my little treat.
No, I love that. Sometimes I do the same thing. Like I wash my face every day. And sometimes I'm like, I don't have to wash my face today. And like, I will go to bed just to prove that like, I don't have to keep the streak.
And it's like not a big deal.
That's good for my mental health. It's like, okay, if I wash my face most days, I'm doing great. If I floss my teeth most days, and I have a similar like floss story because I didn't like flossing because it fucking sucks. Like it's annoying. You gotta like put your whole fist in your mouth. It's so frustrating. And I don't like the little picks because they're too wasteful. So like I use real floss. And my sister told me it takes 48 hours for like your plaque to start to like calcify. And so I was like, okay, 48 hours. So if I floss every other day, I'm on top of it. And for me, having the reason why in my head makes it easier, which is also a very neurodivergent thing.
Yes. And I've literally asked my doctors, my dentist before they'll say something. I'm like, and I just say, I'm like, I'm the kind of person that will do something if I understand like the science behind it or like the concrete reasoning. Can you explain? And they will. I'm like, that makes sense. Yep. I will do that. It doesn't feel arbitrary. If it feels arbitrary, I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I love that. And also, if the only way someone will floss is to use those floss picks, I know some people don't use them because of the environmental impact. I'm like, just use them.
Yeah,
like yourself where you're at. Like no big deal.
The world is already burning. Coca-Cola is the number one polluter of the oceans. Like your floss pick as an individual,
not a big deal.
Are not a big deal because we've already fucked up the whole world. So like I like to reduce that impact where I can, which is I buy cocoa floss. I love cocoa floss. I
compost.
It tastes
that
good.
Helps.
And like Jess got me like a cocoa floss like pack for Christmas last year. It was like 3 different flavors, like and a little tube of toothpaste. It was like a little travel kit. And I'm like, look, now I have floss. So like I'm the kind of person, like, I love a toiletry for Christmas. I'm like, if you buy me a moisturizer that's going to last me all year, you're my best friend. Give me a little sucker patch. Beautiful.
Or like my mom will sometimes gift me, like I used to use, when I used to dye my hair all different colors, and I would have to use like a pricier shampoo and conditioner to keep the color and like keep it all healthy because it was getting bleached a lot. And a while ago, my mom gifted me like the expensive shampoo and conditioner. And I was like, this is so lovely.
Beautiful. Okay. I love that so much. Like, I'm very similar. A friend sent me like Jonathan Van Ness's like air dry cream for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So now I use my JVN to feel fancy. And like my curl cream is just, some $8 curl cream. But
Yeah.
but I also have my JVN for when I'm fancy. Anyway, we are now getting off topic and we've been talking for nearly an hour. So I'm going to cut us off.
Yeah. But this was great.
Yeah, it was fun to have you on and just kind of chit chat. And next time we find some other unhinged connection from our past, maybe I'll bring you back on.
Maybe it'll be a divorce or something.
Oh, I would love to do one on divorce. Let's do that next.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, just a little chill sesh. Okay, so go follow Liora, go follow Colorful Futures. You're awesome. Have a great day,
You're
kids.
awesome.
Thumbs ups.
They'll change your approach and tell you a joke to lighten your load and help you along or sing you a song. Do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.